Title: The Garden of Words by Wisdom Chronicles. In the heart of Tokyo, where the hum of the city weaves a tapestry of never-ending stories, there lies a quaint, elderly home, a sanctuary that breathes a different rhythm. This place, known as Sakura Residence, is a blend of serene traditional gardens and the relentless energy of a modern metropolis. It is here that our story unfolds, a tale of discretion, wisdom, and the delicate balance between speaking and silence. First, the unseen orchid. At Sakura Residence lived an old man, Mr. Watanabe, known for his profound silence. He spent his days tending to the garden, particularly fond of an orchid hidden from the main path. The orchid, blooming in secret, was his pride, a metaphor for the beauty that lies in the unseen, the unsaid. Residents and staff often wondered about Mr. Watanabe's past. Rumors about his life swirled like leaves in the wind. Some said he was a retired professor. Others whispered about a lost love or a tragic family history. Yet, Mr. Watanabe never offered a word, his silence a protective shroud over his personal history. Second, the curious newcomer. One day, a new resident, Mrs. Sato, arrived. She was lively, curious, and unlike Mr. Watanabe, loved to engage in conversations. She quickly noticed his silence and the secret orchid he cared for. Intrigued, she made it her mission to uncover his story. Mrs. Sato tried various tactics, from direct questions to subtle hints. But Mr. Watanabe remained a fortress of silence. His quiet demeanor was not of arrogance, but of a deep, reflective nature that had seen the seasons change many times. Third, the lesson of the garden. One afternoon, Mrs. Sato found Mr. Watanabe in the garden, his hands gently nurturing the soil around the orchid. She approached him and asked, "Why do you never speak about your past? Aren't you afraid of being forgotten?" Mr. Watanabe looked at her, a glint of wisdom in his eyes, and finally spoke. "Do you see this orchid? It blooms in silence, away from the paths where people tread. Yet its beauty is not diminished by its obscurity. My life, like this orchid, has had its share of sun and rain. But not every story needs to be told. Some beauty, some pain, is just for the soul that lived it." Mrs. Sato listened, her heart understanding the unspoken depth of his words. It was a revelation, the power of discretion, the strength in choosing silence over disclosure. Fourth, the whispering winds. As days turned into weeks, Mrs. Sato started to see the world around her differently. She learned to appreciate the stories untold, the wisdom in restraint. The garden became a place of reflection for her, a space where the whispers of the wind spoke more than words ever could. Mr. Watanabe and Mrs. Sato developed a unique friendship, one of few words but deep understanding. They would often sit by the orchid, basking in the tranquility of the garden, the bustling city a distant echo. Fifth, the moral of the story. As time wove its inevitable tapestry, Mr. Watanabe's health began to decline. Even in his final days, he remained a man of few words, his eyes always reflecting a deep understanding of life and its transient nature. After his passing, Mrs. Sato discovered a letter addressed to her. In it, Mr. Watanabe thanked her for understanding the value of discretion, for seeing the beauty in the unspoken. He wrote, "In our silence we shared 1,000 words. Remember, not all gardens are meant for the public eye. Some flowers bloom best in the quiet corners of our hearts." Conclusion. In the bustling city of Tokyo, amidst the serene gardens of Sakura Residence, a profound lesson was learned. Discretion is not merely the act of keeping secrets. It is the art of understanding the value of silence, the beauty of the unspoken. It teaches us that not every story needs to be voiced, for some tales are written in the heart, away from the world's gaze. As the orchid continues to bloom in its hidden corner, It stands as a testament to Mr. Watanabe's life and the timeless lesson he imparted, the power and grace of discretion.